What's good, fam? Today we back with another video, and I got a brand new plugin fresh off the press, and this could very well be sound design heaven. From what I've been told, Sample Logic says UltraSphere could be the best sound design plugin ever made. Follow me. All right, here we have UltraSphere opened up in the MPC software. And before I get into it, I do want to make a disclaimer. UltraSphere is VST3, therefore it is not natively compatible with the MPC software. However, I am using a Mac. And if you're using a Mac like me, you can use UltraSphere as an audio unit plugin and run it inside the MPC. Otherwise, on a PC, you will have to use a VST wrapper like Wave Studio Rack or Bluetooth Audio Patchwork. Now, from the look of UltraSphere, it looks pretty simple. It's not overly complicated. You don't see a lot of buttons and knobs all over the screen. It's a fairly simple UI, and it looks very easy to navigate. So I like that aspect of this plugin. Now, what you're seeing is you have 4 cores, or 4 sound engines if you want to simplify the term. 4 sound engines. Each sound engine has their own specific effects and modulations that you can use per each one. And then you have this main panel here in the middle that kind of controls everything, all 4 modules at the same time. I'm going to try to explain this in the simplest terms so that everybody can understand it. Okay, so up here at the top, you can see there's core 1, core 2, core 3, and core 4. It goes with each module. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now, if we click on core 1, you can see the individual parameters and effects that you can use to adjust this specific core. So we have our gain envelope. Well, actually, let me back up. You have the wave file right here. You can adjust the pitch, pan, volume, transpose it, and the sample start point, if that's what you want to do. You can invert the phase or make it play in reverse. Then you have the gain envelope, attack, hold, decay, sustain, and release. Then you have a tremolo section, which you can assign to an LFO. And this plugin has 6 LFOs and a couple other things that you can assign this to. Vibrato, same thing. The unison section is right here. If you ever use a unison section, you can make the sound kind of bigger, more spread, or more narrow. And then here you can turn the octave on. What that does is adds a note octave higher and an octave lower whenever you press a key on the keyboard. You can also make it mono, make it glide, and do all of that type of stuff with this. Now on this side is a filter, and you can change the different type of filters you want to use, and you can adjust the frequency. Another LFO section. Again, like I said, you have 6 LFOs that are assignable, and then you have the depth knob to control them. And then you can send it to mods. So you have 2 key mods and 2 V mods you can also assign that to. Then you have your filter envelope right here. Again, attack, hold, decay, sustain, and release. Then right here, you have an FM synthesizer, and you have a bunch of different waveforms that you can choose from. You know, right now it's on a saw. You can use a sine wave, you can use a triangle, square wave, whatever you want. And then you can also send that to one of the 6 assignable LFOs. Same thing with FX sends. You got 4 effect sends, and you can send those to those 6 LFOs as well. And then down here, we have an EQ section. This is like the final EQ before it goes to the main output. And this is per each core, as I said before. Now, this XY effects module right here, it basically controls how much each core is playing. For example, directly in the middle, it's playing all 4 cores at once if I hit a key. Now, If I move this up and to the right, now it's only playing core 2. If I move it down to the left, now it's only playing core 3. And as you see, as I move it around, the chord that's playing through the most gets highlighted, and the other one's kind of dim. So right now, chord 2 is bright, chord 1, chord 3, and chord 4. Now, you also have some paths down here that you can select, and it will give you a few different options. So it kind of changes automatically between each chords and blends them together. You can also set this to re-trigger. So at re-trigger, that means that anytime you hit a key, this path will start over from the beginning. So this stuff gives you a lot of variation in the sound, and it gives you a lot to play with actually. And then if you hit clear path, that will reset it. This button right here also resets it. So if you move it somewhere, and this doesn't expand it to full screen or anything like that, it resets this back to the beginning. You can also set it to humanize, which will offset it a little bit to make it sound more human. Like I said, just another option for you. You can also go in here and select different things from the drop-down menu. It's the same thing. You can also save your own custom patterns and recall those whenever you want also. I do want to mention that. You can also save your own custom effects and LFOs and all of that stuff, and it can be recalled at any point in time. Now, down here at the bottom, you have your key ranges per sound. So it's also color coordinated with each core. So core 1 is right here. So you can kind of drag it so that it only affects certain keys or certain key ranges, however you want to set that. Or you can just turn it on and off. These are the different LFO mods that you have. So you have your 6 LFOs, then you have 2 key mods, 2 velo mods, and you can also go in each one and kind of change it to make it whatever you want. And then right here, you click this and you can save this new LFO shape so you can recall it whenever you want to recall it. So all of that stuff is pretty cool. There's presets at the bottom of some of these, so you can just click on them and it'll change it to the different presets. And most of this stuff is pretty easy to change. And again, you can change it to re-trigger, so it'll re-trigger every time you hit a key, or you can just let it go randomly. Now, next we have the sequencer. It has a velocity section that's easy to change, and also a note length section. And you can kind of make it arpeggiate and all of that stuff if you want to as well. Now, once you set it, then you click on the chords you want to be affected by these envelopes. Pretty straightforward, pretty straightforward. You know, this is ARP 1. You have a second ARP you can also do, and you have a chord section, so you can pick your root note and then choose the chord type, whether you want it to be an octave up or wherever you want it to be, strum and all of that stuff, and you can also use that as well. Pretty straightforward. Now you have an effects section. Now in this effects section is very comprehensive. Right now you have 4 effects that you can use. These are the send effects. You have 4 of those, and then you have 4 master effects. Now, in these, you can change these to whatever you want. So right now, this is on a compressor, but if you wanted to change it to saturation or change it to a phaser, whatever you want to change it to, you can change each one of these effects, whether it's the send effects or the master effects. So you got all of the versatility there that you might ever need. This plugin has a ton of presets in it. It also has a ton of sound sources that you can choose from. So if you click on the label up here, you get all of these different tags, and all of the presets are over here on the right. So you just click one. All right, now, one of the cool things, actually a couple cool things that you can do with this preset when you're in the preset browser, you see right here, it says lock sources and lock parameters. Now, I found this really interesting. So let me close this out real quick, just to show you. So we have our 4 different waveforms right here. And if we go into the browser and click lock sources, what it does is it locks those 4 wave files in, so those wave files will not change. But if you go pick a different preset, instead of changing those wave files, it changes all of the effects that were associated with the preset and applies it to those wave files. So now, if I go to a different preset with lock sources in there, instead of it changing those wave files, it only changes the effects that are applied to it. It sounds completely different. And basically, lock parameters is the exact opposite of that. If you select lock parameters, and now when you go pick these different presets, the effects stay the same, but it changes the wave file. So it gives you even more variation to come up with different sound. You can also save these presets as favorites. It's kind of self-explanatory. You can save everything that you make in this plugin and recall it later. Now, as far as each individual core, you can also click on the name of the core and it will pull up this menu. It looks very much similar to the preset selector, except now it's only changing the sound of that specific core. Core 1, Core 2, Core 3, Core 4, they are color coded just like everything else. And you can change the sound just for the specific core that you want to change right here. And there's thousands of different sounds that you can pick from just to help you further advance your sound design and things like that. This is the speed of this XY effect. Now it's on a square path. This right here is how fast it is. So this is the slowest speed, kind of medium, and X2 is the fastest speed. See, that sounds like something you can use for science fiction movie background music, things like that. You can also come up with things that sound melodic or something that you can use for beat making and music production as well. Now, I showed you that you can kind of drag these key ranges around down here. You can also click this up here and kind of change the start and end note range for the key ranges also. I think it's kind of easier just to go down here and drag it to where you want it. And then we have a randomize button right here. So you can just click that. And if you want a preset randomization or you want core randomization, I'm gonna do preset randomization right now. Now let's go for chord randomization. Let's try it again, see what we got. And so just the randomize button right there, you can come up with some interesting sound. Some of the stuff might not be so good. You click it a couple of times, you might come up with something you like. And then you can always go in there and adjust it as you see fit. Now you have your settings up here. You can kind of change a few things, your different MIDI channels. You can also assign your controller to your pitch wheel, mod wheel if you want to do that. And you can change this depending on if you got a slower hard drive or a faster SD drive. You can change that to adjust it to your needs. But I don't really think you need to change much inside of here. But if you really wanted to, you can go in there and do whatever you need to do. There is something that I kind of don't like about this plugin that I think that it needs to have, and maybe they can update it eventually down the line, but I do think that you need the ability to be able to put in your own samples or your own wave files in there. So if you can do that, that would give you even further manipulation in sound design of whatever it is you want to try to create. That's probably my only gripe about this plugin, is that you can't pull in your own custom wave files at this point. But with so much you can do, the possibilities are kind of unlimited. There is, like, you can literally customize any and everything, and you can also automate just about any and everything inside the plugin. So that's two good things that you can do. So what do you think about this plugin? Is it something that you're willing to try out? Do you think Sample Logic is onto the right path? Let me know in the comments below. And as always, I'll see you in the next video. I'm out.